Hello and welcome to yet another episode, another incredible episode on the way. It's the Boss Moves Media Show. I appreciate you being here. It's been 4 awesome episodes. Listen, we've learned so much already. I mean, we've learned about, the art of broadcasting, the art of audio and the development of audio in the world and how audio is really moving things to the future. And today we have yet another special one. I mean, an incredible woman who's about to empower us with words that we actually need to know and sometimes we don't want to hear about, but definitely something you need to jot down and make sure you know, you write, you master, and that is finances. Finances, the publishing world. Today's guest is an incredible woman. I mean, she's a multi-talented, multi-skilled, versatile author, she's an entrepreneur, she's an investment banker, she's a sales expert. She's written and published 4 books, and she's given off her time to come and talk to us today about the incredible work that she does and how you can continue to do the incredible work that you do and continue to prosper. She's also the founder and the publisher of the Beyond Women magazine. She's going to tell us all about it. Jacqueline Johnson! Woohoo! A very good morning, afternoon. Good morning in America. Good afternoon in South African time. How are you,
I
Jackie?
am good. I am good. I'm so happy to be here, to be joining you on your multicast show. I'm
Yes!
serious.
Thank you so much. And I can imagine, someone like you who's so tuned in to what's happening in the media space and the publishing space. These kinds of shows, these multicast shows are really the thing of the future, right?
I agree totally. I mean, the world has opened up to everyone, so to speak. I mean, if you
Mm.
have a mandate, if you have a platform, if you have something to say, you can easily tap
Yes.
into what is going on right now. There is no boundaries, there is no barrier to
Mm.
entry, and it is the way forward because people do need information, and this is an easy way that we can share,
The
you know,
new
what we
normal.
have.
Yeah, this is the borderless new normal.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Now, we want to know a little bit more about you. A lot of people aren't aware of the greatness that you truly are. And I was just telling you off air that I appreciate being introduced to you by Rosie, who's my friend from the John Maxwell team, and
Wonderful
and
friend.
how you exude such great vibrations and you really are on such a high level mentally and in the work that you do that it is so important to get to learn and know the work that you do. So tell us a little bit about who Jackie is.
Well, first, I really want to thank you for your kind words, and yes, I too appreciate the connection of, our mutual friend, Rosie. But I like to tell persons that I am just a simple woman who is trying to make a difference in the lives of others, in particularly, women. And so I love writing, and I thought that, well, I don't even think it was me of myself. I thought that, hey, a magazine, a platform, a media platform, so to speak, that caters to women would be a wonderful way for me to showcase, my passion as it relates to women, my passion as it relates to writing. And so all of what I do stems from that. And pretty much, my journey has evolved over time because I started out in banking, and who could have told me that 10 years later I would have
Yeah.
entered into this whole writing and
Right.
empowering women, and all that I do. Because when you're in a career, when you're in a 9 to 5, you hardly have time to focus on anything else outside of your 9 to 5 and then your family. So when I got the inkling to move out of 9 to 5, it gave me that opportunity to enter into this world. And I'm so, so grateful for that opportunity. So, I mean, the Beyond
Yeah.
Woman, as you mentioned, it's really a platform that empowers women through storytelling, through education, through conversations, because I believe that as women, we do not understand the inherent power that we have inside of us. You know what I mean? The power to effect change. And I believe that when we talk about it, when we showcase women who are doing great things to other women, they will identify and it will allow them to rise in their own greatness and change their space, whether they're in a 9 to 5 job or whether they're at
Yeah.
home, wherever they are, we can really use our voice and use our passion to effect changes on the world. And I mean, that is what I
Yeah.
aim to do through what I do.
And I love what you just said, because a lot of people are finding themselves in situations now where they aren't with a job, they're without a job, and they're finding themselves in situations where they're being retrenched, or the passion that they used to turn into something to make money and opportunities are scarce. And now you're saying we need to start learning how to use what we have around us. What have you found you've had to do in this pandemic that is outside of your norm?
Well, to be honest, what this pandemic has done for me personally is that I have gotten an opportunity to sit back and to really look at what it is I am doing and how I'm creating that kind of impact, and whether I'm really, really serving in the way that I would want to. So I believe that I have some great, great ideas and plans for 2021, and it is because I've been given the opportunity during the pandemic to look at things outside of just inspiring and just telling stories. Like I'd mentioned before, the overarching aim of the Beyond Woman is to form a media platform, and so we started with our magazine. But as I told you, when I started to introspect, I realized that, hey, it's time for me to branch out into um, a more structured way of delivering the content. And so
Hmm.
I decided to revise the whole way that I would do podcasting. And so that I am able to involve other women. So, for example, I've recently started a new series, Women in Business, where I showcase women who have just started their business during the pandemic. I mean, a lot of people
Yeah.
think that the opportunity is not present. We are so overwhelmed with the downside of the pandemic, and we're not really looking at the opportunities that are presented to us. Women are, so far, I've interviewed two women who have started their business just as the pandemic happened, or well, in our sphere of the world.
Yeah.
And I mean, I use that opportunity to say, hey, let me showcase these women. Let me show other women that, listen, you don't need to sit back. There are different ways if we just tap into our purpose and we tap into our passion and what it is, our giftings, what it is that we love to do. A lot of women have been laid off. How can you earn some money? You have to sit back and think about your passion, think about the gift that you have. Maybe it was buried under all of the 9 to 5, and now you're having the opportunity to do something. Something as
Mm.
simple as I am a mother and my boys are not with me, and I'm a little bit concerned about, are they eating properly? Because you know how boys are. They're in college, but you know how boys are. If they don't have to cook, they're not going to cook, right? And I'm saying to
Yeah.
myself, I wonder if I could find a woman who loves to cook and she can prepare meals for them, and I will gladly pay for that. It's
Wow.
those simple things that we can pivot, we can think about and do, to help ourselves during this time. It's not all doom and gloom. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And that is what I might
Yes.
have done for the platform itself, in terms of just trying to
Yeah.
streamline and trying to figure out how I can serve
I
women in
love
a more
that.
practical and more direct way.
And it is all about practicality, right? What you're saying about, people being scared to start something during the pandemic. Don't let a pandemic go to waste. I mean, the fact that people think things are not going to be successful started in this pandemic is the furthest from the truth, because if you look at companies that are running the world right now, Netflix, Uber, you name it, all of these companies were started during the 2008, 2009 recession. So you're
Exactly.
absolutely right. You're absolutely
Exactly.
right. And I absolutely love that. Now, when it comes to you, finding these women that can help each other, how do we then include the men in this picture? Because I find that we do such great work in empowering the girl and the girl child and the woman. And then we expect her to go off and marry who exactly if we're not doing the same to empower the boy and the man and the boy child?
Hmm. Well, naturally, mothers, women in general, because you don't have to be a mother. We are the nurturers, you know.
Yes.
And it's so funny because recently I've been having a couple conversations where, women are feeling a little bit disenchanted and they're not satisfied and they're having problems with their significant others. Maybe they're having
Mm.
problems with their children. And, it is a simple formula. And I like to say that life is simple, if we just, what would I say? We tend to overcomplicate lives. And I'm saying
Yes.
that if you have a significant other and there is an issue, it's all about communication. It's all about
Mm.
communication. And sometimes we have to speak about the person in the way that we want to see them. Sometimes we have to engage them in the way that we want to see them. And I believe just through simple conversations, we can empower our men into being the kind of men that we want to have beside us. And likewise,
Yeah.
our children, you know, um,
Yes.
it's just a simple matter of having the right kind of conversation in love. And I
Yes.
think women have that kind of knack innately, that intuitively we are such emotional creatures. And I think we are
Mm.
generally empathetic and we understand from different perspectives. And so I believe that once we have that kind of conversation with our men as women and we really tell them how we feel and we create the kind of picture, because men need that. We can
Yes.
see the picture, but men are like black and white. They don't see in color. Do
Men are
I
from Mars.
yeah, and I just simply think that if we just have simple conversations with
Yes.
them and let them know how we feel and how we see our lives moving forward. Even our children. I have a daughter, and I'm telling you, she's like a Gen, what do you call it, Gen Z,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's a totally different ball game for me. I tell people that she runs my life. You know,
Yes.
it was so funny. I was watching a seminar quite recently, and some women were talking. They had the mothers and the daughters in on the conversation, and one of the daughters mentioned, she's a millennial, and she mentioned that some of the times as millennials, what they need to do is engage with their mother so that the mother can understand from their perspective,
Mm.
what they're going through, how they see life. And Nala is just a simple matter of us being open with each other and
Yeah.
talking in a way where we can accept what each other is saying. And I
Yeah.
think that will cause the kind of empowerment that we need,
Yes.
whether in the
And
man
that's
or
the
the children.
mutual respect. You said something powerful. You spoke about communication with love. And I feel like that is really the solution. I mean, right now in South Africa, we're observing 16 days of activism for nonviolence against women and children. And I mean, if I can tell you the statistics in South Africa, they're appalling. I mean, it's outrageous. The amount of women that die in the hands of their lovers, the amount of children that die in the hands of their caregivers and their parents. And and just the amount of women who get raped on a daily basis. Every 3 hours, a woman is raped in South Africa. And these are statistics that keep growing no matter what we do, you know. And I just like to know from you, is this something that you are experiencing amongst the women that you interact with, in whether in Jamaica, in the Bahamas, in America? Is there a similar trend, and what is being done in this regard?
You know, I think that that is a worldwide phenomenon. You
Mm.
know, I think that, and especially what we're going through, I remember doing a little bit of research for myself, of course, and based on this whole pandemic and the fact that we are in close proximity to each other,
Yes.
um, and if we're not able to manage the space in such a way that everybody feels, or everybody gets their own space at different times, it can be quite, taxing. And that is what I believe we are experiencing on a greater scale right now, because everybody, well, not everybody, but most persons are at home, right?
Mm,
The
mm.
women, as you mentioned, in South Africa, they're with the perpetrators, you know,
Yep.
and I don't know, there is no way that they can move out of that situation. So, in answer to your question, I believe that that is just something that is happening worldwide, whether it is on a large
Mm.
scale in Jamaica or in the Bahamas. I honestly don't have the statistics, but what I do know is
Yeah.
that in October, I believe it was, Jamaica was able to open their first shelter for women
Oh.
who are facing this kind of issue. But it's a bigger picture, you know, and it's gonna take not just the government, not just the UN who has that kind of mandate. It's going to take all of us, because you know that sometimes, even in these situations, the woman will not speak out.
No.
And one of the things that I believe that needs to happen is that we need to have persons who can speak out on their behalf, you know, because women are not going to speak out for different reasons. Maybe for
True.
financial reasons, because they can't support themselves. Maybe, you know, they don't have faith in the legal system. And then again, maybe because it takes too long. This is a human rights issue.
Yes.
It's a human rights issue, and I don't think that this is something that needs to be in the courts and battling over. This is just a situation that is clear and cut, and
Yeah.
governments need to implement the necessary policies or whatever bills, whatever it is, that
Mm.
allow these perpetrators to be dealt with swiftly, you know. And I
Mm.
think that that will increase the confidence and allow more women to come out and to speak out. I know
Yeah.
that in Jamaica, in the police force, they have specific trained female police officers who women can speak with. So I know that there are initiatives that are being done, but it's going to take a lot, I believe, to before we see it trending downwards. You
Yeah.
know, I guess it's just a consistent effort on the part of all of us collectively, as a community, as a government, policymakers, in order to effect changes in this regard. But it really is a sad situation, and my
Yeah.
heart as a woman goes out to these women.
Yes,
You
yes.
know,
It is a human rights issue, one that we
it
continue
is.
to advocate for and will never ever stop. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk money. I know it's a topic that a lot of people are, worried about, that are they're concerned about. Some of them are even scared to talk about, especially in the black community, particularly in the black community. And when we come back from the Boss Moves Media Show, don't go anywhere. We still have Jacqueline Johnson, and she is here to inspire and empower us. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to it. This is episode 4 of the Boss Moves Media Show. We do have an incredible guest today. It's Jacqueline Johnson Walker. I want to understand, the Johnson and the Walker, and why you've got a double barrel and why you chose to have a double barrel. Actually,
It's actually Walker Johnson.
oh, it's
But that's
Walker
all right.
before the Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. Maybe it's a woman's thing. Maybe it's that little part, that little bit of feminism in me where I need to retain my
Really,
Walker. I'm not a feminist though. I can tell you that. I'm not. I mean, to an
really,
extent. Yes, everything
because
in
I
moderation.
I mean, I'm always thinking, am I going to double barrel? Am I going to lose my surname? And I've built, a name for myself, and I'm writing books. So what do girls do in this situation? Because you kind of want to keep a little bit of you.
And you know what it is also? I remember when I was, well, pregnant. That's the first thing that comes to mind. But there are different situations where I found
Yeah,
myself, and there are a lot of people with that name, Jacqueline Johnson. So that was
yeah,
also another reason for me to keep the walker and to create that kind of uniqueness instead of being
yeah,
lost in the
yeah.
myriad of Jacqueline Johnsons that are out there. So that's also another one of the reasons.
We love it. We love it. Now, you are, you have experience as an investment banker, you have experience as a sales expert. So your money should be right. Like your pockets should be overflowing. You know what I mean? Are they, and if so, how do you do it? How do you maneuver your way around a pandemic and still have your finances in check? What habits do you have?
They always say it's easier to teach than it is to But you know what? What can I say? Generally speaking, finance has become like a part of me, to be honest. I'm not in the market as I usually am, but I think the ground rules have been set from a couple of years ago when I entered into commercial banking and investment banking. So that has helped me a lot, knowing and understanding what is important. How is it that we can remain financially secure, and not only remaining financially secure, but say for example I am not in the kind of stability that I would have loved to be, then this is where the whole matter of financial resilience comes in. And I think that with this pandemic, it caught a lot of us off guard. By the reports, you realize that people are months away from being broke. People are broke right now.
Yeah.
And this is where financial resilience comes in, and what I have had to practice for myself. And this entails, I mean, just taking stock of your situation and finding ways in which you can save, finding ways in which you can cut back, such as, we ladies like to, before on our way to work, we like to stop at the coffee shop. My husband loves Starbucks, when before the pandemic and Starbucks was open every morning. I was like, Robert, but we have coffee in
Yeah.
the cupboard. We have coffee in the cupboard.
Yeah.
There's just
And there's
something
coffee
about
at work.
Starbucks. Huh?
And there's coffee at work.
But there's just something at Starbucks. So I mean, talking about that, I'm saying that rather than stopping and having that coffee, you know, save that money. For us, I know that ladies love shopping, and ladies are still shopping. We can't wear the stilettos and all of those nice things because we have had to scale back. Some of us are working from home. So all of that spending money needs to be reverted into, shoring up our savings right now. When you look at homes, every room has a television and everybody's watching television, and the lights are on. Be conscious of that and save on your utilities. And all of that is
Wow.
incorporated into becoming financially resilient. As I mentioned earlier, my boys are not here with me. And every single month we had to have the conversation because I still get the bills. I still have to pay the
Yeah.
bills. And I'm looking and I'm saying, but the electricity is going up rather than down. What is happening? Are you guys having all of the lights on? You know what I mean? I had to take stock of the expenses and what is going on. And in doing so, we build the financial resilience. I know that something as simple as going to the supermarket, for me, I have started to plan my meals. I know that I'm having this on a particular day, so I shop accordingly at the supermarket so I don't overspend. You follow
Yes.
where I'm getting at? So
Yes.
we need to become, financially resilient in this time so that whatever we can reallocate resources, so to speak, into our savings so it can help us and buffer us as the months go by.
Yeah.
One of the rules in finance is that you should have like 6 months of savings. But this pandemic, oh my goodness, we're what,
Yeah.
like going into a year?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even 6 months, probably persons have exhausted it right now, you know. And it also goes back to what I mentioned earlier in terms of us as women utilizing our passion, utilizing our giftings. How can you create that additional stream of income?
Mm.
Simple little things that we can do in order to help ourselves as we go along. And it might be things that are not pretty and things that are not sexy, but no, it's not the time for that, right? No, it's the time for
Yeah.
us being practical
I
and,
mean,
and
we still like to be cute and everything, Jackie.
I agree, and nothing is wrong with that. But I'm just saying, where you can save. It
Yes.
is time for us to do that now because, especially in our Black communities, I don't even
Yes.
like to go there, but we spend, you
Too
know,
much.
we spend, and um, investing is not like at the top of our list. Let me
Yeah.
speak generally for the average person because you do
Yeah.
have women who are very financially savvy and aware of what's going on and will put things in place for eventualities like this. But on average, the average Black person,
Yeah.
but we have to speak it like it is. We have to
I
speak.
consider myself the average Black person in this particular scenario. And it concerns me because I feel like it's something that I have inherited, or the lack of education that I inherited from, generations ahead of me. And for some reason, there is generally the feeling that Black people have been put in a position of consumerism. How do we get ourselves out of this mindset into a place where we are creating, we are creators, we are innovators, we are the people that are creating the vaccine that's going to be bought for billions?
Well, the first thing, or the biggest thing I would say is to recognize that we are so much more than, how we are labeled. That's the first thing. And you put it right when you mentioned the fact that we have been socialized in this way. And this is where education comes in. This is where awareness comes in. This is where you and I come in, Nala,
Mm,
where we have to
mm,
put it in the fore consistently to the average Black person that, hey, there is just so much more to our lives than how we're living it. And
yeah.
so in terms of education, I mean, I am so happy for like Google. I mean, there's just a myriad of
Yeah.
information on Google. And the first thing
Yes.
that I would advise women to do is to go to Google, and tap in the keyword financial education, financial literacy, and see what comes up, and portfolio investing and all of that. And then after we have educated ourselves, because I really believe that we must arm ourselves with the knowledge first and foremost, and then we must seek out the professional help, align ourselves with a financial investor, advisor.
Mm.
I don't know if they call them boutique companies in
Yeah.
South Africa, where you can get the one-on-one that you need, because as a woman we need to demand that also. You need to really understand what you're getting into. You really need to understand the intricacies of financial investing, and then you will be in a better position to manage your finances. And I
Yeah.
hope, like, we're not talking over the heads of some of our women, because they probably are like, well, the money
Yeah.
is right now,
And
where am I going to get money to invest?
exactly. I mean, a lot. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so you want me to spend money to go and learn how to save money. I mean, the logic in that for a lot of people goes over their heads, like me, because I don't get it.
You're not spending to go and learn investing, because the investment advice is free. Is it paid in South
Well, I mean,
Africa?
if I get a one-on-one, if I have a one-on-one
Oh,
with an
really?
investment, yeah, with an investor or a financial coach, I'll have to pay for that. So for me,
Well,
that is
yeah,
an
for a financial coach, but if you're saying to me that if you go into an investment bank and you request to see an
well,
advisor,
no, no, no. With that,
okay,
it'll definitely be free. But then
that's
the
what I'm talking
question,
about.
yeah, no, no, certainly. But the question then will be, I mean, I don't have money left at the end of it. I've got a lot of month left, more than the money at the end of it. So, where do I even start with the investing? What do I let go of?
But
Where
that's
do
what
I?
we talked about. That's what we talked about earlier, right? That's what we
Yeah,
talked about earlier. And let me tell you, we cannot ignore the value of. I don't know if you guys in South Africa know this term, but one cocoa full basket, something like that, where a little
yeah.
bit of everything can, when combined, can amount to something,
Oh yes.
and that is where I talk about reallocating resources. So instead of buying the shoes for $80,
Yep.
I mean, I know that as
Yeah.
women, we have put ourselves on the back burner for a long time in
Yep.
terms of
Yep.
the things that we want.
The
But
soft life. That's what they
what
call
we're
it, the soft life.
what we're experiencing right now requires that. It really requires
Yeah.
sacrifice, you know what I mean? And
Mm.
I know we're talking about women, but the men also,
Mm.
it really requires a combined effort if you're in a marriage, and then again if you're single. And also in terms of, I know we have a lot of things on our plate as women, but start thinking multiple streams of income, and it can be very
Yes.
simple. It can be very simple. How can I help another person? How can I earn a $1 here or there? And
Yeah.
then filter that into a savings account first and foremost. Let it build up, and we just have to try and figure it out, and just do the best that we can you
Yes.
know
I'm taking it all in and
and
I
then when it
am acting
passes,
on it. Pardon?
this is a learning moment, right? Remember
Yes, it
when
is a
we said that
learning
in the
moment.
pandemic, there's just so
Yes.
much that we can learn. So this is a learning moment. So hopefully when we transition
Hmm.
from what's happening right now, at least we will have the knowledge and the know-how, and then we can do something different going forward.
Certainly. Well, you know what? We at the end of this pandemic, we all have to be way better than we were before it.
And that's the
This
point.
Yes, yes. We are going to take a quick break. This is the Boss Moves Media Show. We have the incredible Jacqueline Walker Johnson, and she is empowering us about great things that you need to know and implement in your own life. Hope you have a pen and paper because you're going to have to remember and put action into these. We'll be back just now. Welcome back to it. This is the Boss Moves Media Show, and we still have the incredible Jacqueline Walker Johnson. She is a financial coach. Well, she's my financial coach from now on. She's a published author. She is, the founder of the Beyond Women magazine, and she continues to empower and inspire women all around the world. And we are so privileged and honored to have her here. Just to say, it's very important for you to find all of her work. We actually have it pinned on bossmovesmedia.com. So please head on over to bossmovesmedia.com right now, and you'll find all of her books and access to the work that she's done and the Beyond Women magazine, all pinned on the comments page. So shout out to people who've joined our chat. We've got Adasa Lyons saying beautiful rising ladies. We've got other ladies and gents that are joining via Instagram and also bossmovesmedia.com. We really do appreciate you. Now, Jacqueline, we were talking about, your books and the work that you do and how incredible it is. I was reading your story and got to realize and understand that you decided, well, actually, serendipity took you into the writing and publishing space because you were in the financial world, but things happened and you were driven into this direction after moving to the Bahamas, I believe.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. And ever since then, you started writing. What has your experience been like? I mean, let's talk about you publishing your first book. Was it self published? And how did you go about that?
All my books are self-published, and that's another
Nice. Woohoo!
beauty. That's another beauty of um, just the barriers to entry for certain industries just opening up and allowing persons to, pursue their passion, so to speak. And
Mm,
as we talk about book publishing, I remember initially my memory of book publishing was that you write your manuscript and you send it into a publisher, and hopefully it gets noticed, and you go from there. But the fact that that barrier has been totally eradicated thanks to
yeah.
companies like Amazon and the others that have followed suit. It has opened up the world of writing and publishing to the average person, right?
Nice.
And
Nice.
it just depends. I think this, so for me, my first book, Call to a Higher Service, was self-published actually. It's funny because I did contact a publishing house
Okay.
initially when I was writing, but let me tell you, the fees, the to just start, it's enormous, and
Yeah.
I didn't think it was worth it,
Okay.
and so I started doing the research, and finally decided that this is how I'm going to go about doing mine, as in becoming a self-published author. And like I said, I mean, Google is your best friend, man. When you don't know anything, Google is your best friend. And I Googled, and there was like a step by step. You had persons who were offering courses on how to self-publish, and that is how I went about doing it. So it all depends on your objective and whether you have the resources to do what you need to do. I think my host got disconnected. Okay.
My sincere apologies. We got cut off there. Gremlins just went into our system and cut us off. But thank you so much. We're right back. So you were talking to me about self-publishing and how it's really opened up this industry. You started. You were there. You went to the publishers and you figured, this is too much for me. I can actually do this myself. And you started doing research.
Right. So I did the research, the information was there. You had persons who were offering courses on how to self-publish, and I just went with that.
Mm.
But, I was saying ultimately it depends on your objective. If you have the resources, if you have the time, because that's another thing. When you go to a traditional publishing company, you have to pretty much wait on them. And then if they do notice your manuscript and feel as
Yeah.
though, they want to publish your book, then maybe, there are changes. So you don't have full control. So you
Yes.
have to sit down and you have to try and figure out what is it that you want to achieve. Do you mind giving up your voice to the publishing house,
Mm-hmm.
because ultimately they usually change your script so
Yes.
what they believe will sell, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I think the space has opened up, as you can see that for yourself. I believe that
Mm.
even known persons are publishing or going the route of self-publishing, because it's an easy matter of uploading your book onto Amazon and getting it sold from
Mm.
there.
Mm.
But then there are also drawbacks, because you're totally responsible for your marketing, and in any event, even with a traditional publisher, you would have to do some amount of marketing yourself, and so it's always good for you to have a presence, not necessarily on social media, but you have to be prepared to do the work in terms of promoting your book,
Yeah.
and to your followers or to your friends, to the man on the street,
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
just about anybody. You have to be excited about your work, and want it to be in the hands of pretty much everybody, and you have to take full control. So that is where the challenges might lie, because if you're not that type of person, usually creators, um, they like to do the creating, and then hopefully they have like a really, really good book with a really, really good title, and it captures the attention of persons without them doing the work. But it
Yeah.
doesn't happen all the time. And like I said, that's a challenge that self-publishers have in terms of making the money. My background is in sales, so it didn't take anything for me to,
Sure.
self-publish and to be in a position to market my own work. So you have to look at it wholesomely and figure out what it is that you want for yourself. But it's a much easier route.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
much more cost effective. Um, you have total control in terms of your earnings. Even on Amazon, if you were to sell through Amazon, Amazon has made it so easy for publishers, because you earn up to 70% of your sales. With a traditional publisher, that's you're not getting anywhere near to that.
I
You're
mean,
not
it's
getting
like
anywhere near to
it's
that.
10%, 10% deals at most, and
Yeah,
then you have to pay a co-production fee. But I mean, if you don't believe me when I say Jackie is really has a high vibration, she exists on a higher level. Listen to the titles of her books, right? Find Her Way, Part One. 22 ways to grow personally and spiritually, called to a higher service, called to a higher service, heal you first. I mean, it really doesn't get better than that. If I were to go and download one of your books right now in any of the bookstores, which one would you recommend me go find first and why?
it's so funny, because Heal You First is such a simple book, but I think it's a potent book. Next to Call to a Higher Service, I would say go and get Heal You First. First.
Heal
And
you
that
first.
is simply because I truly believe that in order for us to be wholesome, and in order for us to effectively function. We really have to know ourselves. We really have to believe in ourselves. We have to understand what it is that we can contribute, what it is that we bring to the table. And, as Tyler Perry said, if there's no table, then create your own table. And I believe that heal you first comes from a place where you you understand that it doesn't matter where you're coming from, it doesn't matter the past, it doesn't matter what you've been through. These are all, or they were all necessary for you to be the person that you're going to be when you heal yourself. You know, it has to do with the butterfly and the metamorphosis of, the transformation that takes place when a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. That is the foundation of the book, and I believe that that's the book I would say go and get first. Because when we heal ourselves, then we can be so much more to ourselves and to others.
Done. That's the book I'm getting first. And you then created the Beyond Woman magazine. Now that is something that I absolutely love. I am very passionate about women, especially women going beyond their potential. Tell us a little bit about what the Beyond Women magazine is, actually what the Beyond Women movement is.
All right, so the Beyond Woman movement is a movement that, of course, we use storytelling, we use conversations, we educate women and empower them. It's so funny because there are persons who are of the belief that women don't need to be empowered because we're already empowered. But I agree. But the thing is that we are empowered, and innately we know that by virtue of our resilience and by virtue of the things that we are able to do, we know that we are empowered. But because of circumstances, because of situations, because of socialization, we have these limitations, so to speak, that we place on ourselves. And so it prevents us from being empowered in our own spaces. And sometimes some of these things are also external of us because society itself, society says that the woman's place is in the home. When you look at governments, you don't have a lot of women taking on or given a chance to
Yes.
affect policies that would
Yes.
would help other women, and so we're limited in that kind of respect also. And that's where I'm coming from in terms of the Beyond Woman. I believe that when we're able to showcase women who are doing great things, it will enable us in a wholesome way to understand that, hey, it doesn't matter. You have women who come from very deprived backgrounds that are doing phenomenal stuff. Somehow they have found a way to break free from, what the past, then, so to speak, and they have become a powerhouse. And those are the women that we want to showcase. We also showcase women who are in the middle, going
Yeah.
through, because every woman needs to be able to identify herself in some aspect of our platform. As I told you, we're very passionate about putting women who do not have a voice into the limelight, giving them a voice via our platform.
Mm.
And pretty much that's what we our aim is in whatever form, our podcast, the magazine, just regular conversations through conferences that we'll be having. And as a matter of fact, we're having our very first annual conference come next year, where we are showcasing
Yay!
women. Should I tell them, Nanala?
Yes, please tell them.
Of course, Nanala, none other than Nanala from Boss Moves Media will be a part of one of our speakers. And I am just looking forward to that conference because as I told you, 2020 and the whole pandemic has caused me to introspect a little bit and to see how we can serve our women better. And I believe that conference, because it's themed increase, and that's going to be our theme for all of the year for 2021, where we're telling women that it's time for us to increase. It's time for us to rise
Yes,
up. It's time for us to come up higher. We have so much in us, and we need to understand that we have a voice and we should not be fearful of using our voice, because you just never know who is waiting on you to serve them, because we're on this earth to serve each
yes,
other. We're not here to just get up and go to work and be just focused on ourselves, but we're really here to serve each other. And
truly.
I think our platform wants women to just begin to open their voices and to combine their voices for the betterment of other women, not only in our country, not only in our space, but
Yes,
just globally. And we see that happening already. So, I mean, we're just doing
yes.
our part. We're adding to that.
Yes, I respect what you just said about policy, women in policy making decision positions. I mean, up until now, yes, we're seeing a lot of representation of women in government and in leadership positions, but where policy is concerned is where we need to see the change actually
Because
happen.
that's where the change will take place. That's where the change
Yes,
will take place. And who knows a
exactly.
woman better than another woman?
Certainly. Now, you speak about service. Tell me about being a leader, who serves. Looking at what's happening in America right now, what is leadership and service and a service-centered leadership, and what does that mean?
Um, all right. So for me, when I think about the word leadership, it is being ourselves in the most effective way that will cause impact to another woman. It is us taking ourselves out of the equation and putting ourselves in the shoe of another person. I love to tell people that I'm an empath, and I don't know if that is a good thing. Sometimes I think it's a bad thing, because we also have to be careful that when we're being empathetic, that people
Yes.
understand what we're trying to achieve, and it's not a situation where persons are taking advantage of us. But ultimately, I believe leadership is when we can, take ourselves out of the picture, and to feel what another person is feeling, and do what we need to do to create the impact that will put them in a better in a better place for themselves. And
Yeah.
serving, I
Yeah.
mean, serving, just service to others.
Service. It's all about service. Now, if you are to, look through your proverbial, rose-colored glasses, and you're looking into the future, what do you see regarding the publishing industry in particular? What do you see? What changes are you seeing, and where is this industry going?
Like I said, I am so elated that the publishing industry has opened up to um, more persons then. Um, and what I would love is that we ensure that whatever information that we're putting out is it's practical and it's relevant.
Yeah.
Um, with all that we have to do, I'm using myself as an example right now. With all that, the different roles that we play, the things that we have to do, I would love. It might seem silly, but I would love for us to reduce the fluff, if you
Okay.
understand, reduce the fluff and just give persons practical ways in which we can move forward without overwhelming them. And I say that because when I see, like I said, it might sound silly, but when I see a huge book, it's not very, it's kind of a deterrent to
Yeah.
me, because half of the time, I'm telling you, it's a lot of words,
Yes.
and for us to get move beyond the words and get to the meat of the matter, it takes a little while, and then we get disillusioned, if I can use that word, or we realize that we have something else that we need to do. And so I would
Yeah.
love for us to make the whole process of reading simpler, for people because I don't think a lot of persons take up a book and read now. I'm happy for all the fact also that it is becoming accessible on our devices. I can take up my phone and I can
Mm.
access a Kindle book or an ebook or whatever. That's great. Also,
Yeah.
the fact that we have audiobooks now where, I mean, I am cooking in the kitchen and I can put on my audiobook and listen to it. I just want the industry to become even more accessible and more attractive, so to speak, for the person who would think twice before they pick up a book and read. Because there's just a lot of valuable information that is out there, and we need to make it attractive in a way that someone will say, hey, yeah, I'm gonna pick up this book. And I can tell you that my books
Yeah.
are pretty small, they're to the
Easy
point.
reads,
I just
my
Yeah, I
favorite
just
kind.
I just say what I have to say, and that is it. So if there was anything, that is what I would want. That's a direction that I would want the industry to move into. Just find ways in which we can make it even more attractive to persons that they will just read.
Yeah. I mean, we have 2 minutes to go. So I would like to wrap up, but I see here there's a Prince Dre. Prince Dre says, yay, mom! Is that your son?
That's my son. That's my son. That's my
Oh,
son.
we
Yesterday he
love
was
that.
like, he was like, You're gonna be on this pod. This is a this. What did you say? This is an opportunity, mom. This is. I have to support
Oh,
you, and he was just going on, and I was like,
oh
DJ,
man. We
but I'm
love
grateful for
that.
it. I'm
We're
grateful.
and that's what life is about, right? You're impacting your son's lives without even knowing it, Jackie, and you're doing such an incredible job. Thank you for being an inspiration and continuing to inspire us. I mean, I'd love to leave you with this 1 minute just to share words of encouragement that you want to leave us with.
What can I say? Um, I just want to tell women that you are so much more. You are the bomb.com. You are the greatest thing
Mm,
since sliced bread. And I just want to
mm,
say, especially to the women who feel like they're not enough, that let us just be practical, about our lives. Let us look at our successes. We tend to focus on the negatives, but look at how far you have come. Look at the successes that you have created for yourself and for others, and let that be the driving force that propels you even further to increase in your calling and increase in your power, and just go forth and do great things for yourself and for your
yes.
community.
Oh man, it's been incredible drawing from you. And I do encourage you to please find her books. They are available. We have put up a link on bossmovesmedia.com with all of her books. And The Beyond Women, we can find it at, it's The Beyond Women on
The
URL,
beyond
right? That's
the beyondwoman.com. Yes, yeah.
thebeyondwomen.com. She's available on Instagram, always available to chat and just to
Yeah.
converse with you and get to understand you and share her knowledge. An incredible woman, Jacqueline Walker
Thank you so much
Johnson.
for the
Thank
opportunity.
you.
Yeah, I'm in South Africa.
Yeah, you're in South Africa, baby. But you really
Thank
need
you
to
so
come
much.
to South Africa, though. And when you do, I have
It's on the
so much
bucket
to
list.
show you.
It's on the
Please.
bucket list for sure.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Really do appreciate you.
And I look forward
And
to you on the conference.
definitely, I'll see you in 2021 on the Beyond Women conference.
Definitely. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Renata. Great
Thank
stuff.
you,
And
Jackie.
congratulations on your platform.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All
All
right.
right,
Take care.
that's it. It's a wrap. That's how we wrap up episode 4 of the Boss Moves Media Show. I am so empowered right now. My energy levels are like this. It's time to start the weekend, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you leave your comments. Let us know what you think of it, how we can, improve it, who you want us to speak to. We want to know all about it. Always making sure that we bring you content that's going to lift you higher and take you to the next level. We're looking beyond the pandemic. Hey, what will life be? And we're creating that reality right now. My name is Nona Latose. It's been an absolute pleasure serving you. We'll be back next week, Friday, for another episode of the Boss Moves Media Show. Thank you to the team. Bye. Hey.